the beginning, trying to actually figure out how to bring the states into the union, all the way going into the Reconstruction era after the Civil War. The government and Abraham Lincoln and Congress, they needed a way to import or deport some states, all the states in the Confederate or the South Side, back to the Union, which is America as a whole. These three plans was the Lincoln Plan, the Radical Republican Plan, and the Johnson Plan. The Lincoln Plan, which was proposed by, of course, Abraham Lincoln, was a plan that required a 10% loyalty to the oath and had no protection against freed blacks in the USA. The Johnson Plan, proposed by Abraham Lincoln's Vice President Johnson, was a plan to pardon whites in the South. States had to abolish slavery. There was no blacks allowed in government, and the states had to form their own government. More of states' rights guy. Alright, now the Radical Republicans plan was a plan that was actually used to import states to the Union. States must accept the Freedmen's Bureau Act, the Civil Rights Act, and the Reconstruction Acts. They also must accept the 13th and 14th Amendment. And also, they used military supervision, which actually split the South into 5 military districts, as you can see on the map. The 13th Amendment of the Constitution was an amendment added that freed all slaves in the South from slave labor. On the evening of April 14, 1865, while attending a special performance of the comedy Our American Cousin, President Abraham Lincoln was shot. Accompanying him at the Ford's Theater that night were his wife Mary Todd Lincoln and a 20-year-old officer named Major Henry R. Rathbone and Rathbone's fiancée, Clara Harris. After the play was in progress, a figure with a drawn Derringer pistol stepped into the presidential box, aimed, and fired. The president slumped forward. The assassin, John Wilkes Booth, dropped the pistol and waved the dagger. Rathbone lunged at him, and though slashed in the arm, forced the killer to the railing. Booth leapt from the balcony and caught the spur on his left boot on a flag draped over the rail, and shattered a bone in his left leg on landing. Though injured, he rushed out the back door, and disappeared into the night on a horseback. That was a tragic death, but he was later caught, and he was burned, and he was hanged. Well, he wasn't burned, but they burned his building, which forced him out. He said, sic semper tyrannius, I believe, and he was later hanged. That saying that he said was a Virginia quote, some old stuff. As a direct result of the 13th Amendment, the Jim Crow laws was established to enforce segregation into African Americans, separating them from public facilities like restrooms, restaurants, and public schools, and a lot of other stuff. The 14th Amendment was an added amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which gave freed African Americans the right of citizens. It made African Americans even more free at the fact that they had rights of a citizen, but yet it really didn't make a change because they were still segregated and treated unfairly. The 15th Amendment in the U.S. Constitution was the last amendment in this starting series of rights for African Americans. This amendment gave African Americans the right to vote. The Ku Klux Klan was an organization started by Confederate soldiers who believed that African Americans didn't have any rights as a human being. They struck fear in their eyes, intimidated them by using violence, so they couldn't participate in events such as voting. Sharecropping was a great way for landowners to produce their own crops and make a profit off of other people working for them. It's pretty much when a landowner allows a tenant farmer to actually use their land and share for the crops that they produced. So The landowner gives the tenant farmer a place to live, place to stay, and in return, they have to make crops. They have to plant food and vegetables and crops, all that stuff for the landowner to keep. They usually split it about 50-50, probably. Sometimes the landowners got even more pickier and took 60 or maybe 70. And they either use that to make money or for themselves. Alright, well, that's the end. That's pretty much a wrap for the whole Reconstruction thing. Well, it pretty much came up from all the way into the 3 plans of government trying to actually start up the America again after the Civil War. It was broken apart from African Americans trying to join and try to find their way into society, all the way up to the economy starting back up with the sharecropping, and that's pretty much it. America actually found a way to actually put themselves back together, and it came together, and now we see some of this through our life, as in states coming into as in the plans of states actually joining the U.S., and sort of racist problems that sort of happened, and a lot of stuff passed on from the Reconstruction all the way to modern day society, and that's pretty much it. This was created by Isaac Samuels III.